Welcome back, everyone. I'm chill. I'm clean. I'm out of my Meineke clothes. Um, so my videos about empty service bays is mixed results. You know, for me and probably any business owner or shop manager, man or woman, doesn't matter who you are. You don't want empty bays. You don't want the phones not ringing. You don't want online appointments dead. You want activity in your business to make you feel like you're doing your job and that the area still wants to use you as a service provider. And excluding some of your loyal customers, I believe your loyal customers will still always come back, regardless if they have a problem or not, because you're there to take care of them. But I was just having this discussion with April that even though you provide the best level of service, at our shop, holidays we give out gifts, birthdays, bottles of wine, scratch offs. We do a bunch of different stuff, and we're not a high volume location. And what I mean by that, even though you give that next level tier of service that you know for a fact that those customers aren't getting anywhere else, and some small things like there's a huge container of candy on my counter and everyone picks it. I don't go to Pep Boys and see that. I don't go to Mavis or Firestone and see that. That's something small that we do to reward our customers and make them think about Meineke. Like, hey, I was at Meineke and they always have my favorite Reese cups or some hard candy or something, or they always offer me water while I'm there. Even at that level of service, I have customers who fall out. You have customers who die, customers who move away, um, customers that just take a different path, customers who buy a new car and then they feel loyal to the dealership for the first 36,000 miles, and some aren't. They'll still continue to come back and get service with you. However, there's always the ball is always rolling uh, in your business, and there's fallout, and how do you fix the fallout? How do you keep going? But empty bays is stimulating a lot of conversation amongst body shops, auto repair, specialty shops. And I think that we all can learn from the feedback in the comments. And don't be afraid to ask me questions or ask somebody that says, hey, we're so busy, and he's in. I'm just going to give you an example. Somebody said they were super busy Meineke shop in Florida. Why are they so busy? Are they the only guy in town? Are they the only guy that does the exhaust? Are they running a lost leader that's driving traffic in? What are they doing different than you are? And different parts of the world and different demographics and different locations are all going to respond differently. But can we take a piece of what everyone's doing and saying, okay, well, I'm missing this piece of my business. Let me try that. Well, I don't have this piece of my business. Or I have 5 shops within, a spitting distance of me. How can I stand out better from them? How can I be better, or how can I attract more customers? And we can all learn from, why one place is busy and the other place is dead. There's nobody in Cinnaminson that has a backlog of work. I know that for a fact. That's on Route 130. If I drive up and down those locations for 100% fact, there's nobody in Cinnaminson that's 2 weeks out. If you call them and they say they're 2 weeks out, they're lying to you and they probably don't want to perform the service. There's nobody in Cinnaminson that is that busy for auto repair. Now, the body shops, possibly, but I don't see the body shop. And then we have two. We have Caliber that I know for a fact is not slammed. They have work, but they're not busy. And then we have Maaco that I know is one of the best Maacos in the world. I went by there the other day, and there was at least 50 or 60 parking spots that were open, and that never happens. They are jammed, cars everywhere, cars out on the street. But can we learn from it? And you can't compare yourself to a place that doesn't do that. If you don't do state inspection, right? There's no state inspection, and then another state over is doing state inspection. Well, they have a leg up on the consumer. They have to come in. They have to spend money every year. So it's hard for me to compare myself to Philadelphia, which is a stone throw over the bridge from me, to say, well, they're busy in Philly. They're going to be busy. And their ticket average starts out at $120 for an oil change and a state inspection, if not $200. Where the disadvantage of me being over the bridge in New Jersey is we have no state inspection. Everybody in the world knows they can drive around a broke ass car and not have to fix it until it falls apart under their feet or they decide to fix it. Right? But let's learn from it. Let's talk amongst each other. I think it's good because it does, like April talks to me like a psychiatrist. It's nothing you're doing wrong. You have the right things in place. Your shop's not a pigsty. The girls run the counter. I'm not at the counter. They interact with all the customers. So I take me away from the counter part of it and say, well, it isn't me. I'm not at the counter. We have women running our counter, my counter, and I'm in the shop with the guys. So you take that aspect of, is it really me? What's going on? And every business owner has these questions. Why? What can I do differently? What can I do better? How can I become more profitable? How can we become more efficient? How we can continue to keep the doors open, right? There's a lot of moving pieces in different places. Are they, an area of the world where their average home is 600,000 or a million, right? And they have tons of multi-millionaires around them, and they don't care what it costs to get their tire plugged or an oil change. Every shop has a different behavior that's going on. This is what I'm going to say. I can't compare what's going on in Cinnaminson, what's going on in Camden, right? The Camden building may be, a $1,500 a month rent and 3 times the size of Meineke Cinnaminson, and he may have a shop of guys willing to work for $15 an hour or $10 an hour or illegals. I really don't have that answer. But I know in Cinnaminson for a fact there's nobody out 2 weeks for appointments for auto repair. Nobody. Maybe the smaller paint shops might be, but Mavis, Firestone, who else is on our strip? Me, Pep Boys, the gas station across the street, Mongo's, another shop closer in town. There's another shop, Ivan's. He has cars just piled up, sitting everywhere that don't move. So I'll exclude him. He looks like he's 2-3 weeks out for service. He's not. That's a fact. Nobody in Cinnaminson, New Jersey, is busy with work or 2 weeks out for appointments. We are all welcoming customers to show up, and we all want to be busy taking care of customers and getting them up. And if I was 2 weeks behind with getting cars done, I'd have to look at why can't I process cars fast enough to get these customers back? You follow me? And how many people are really waiting for you to plug their tire 2 weeks later or change their oil? I don't think that's happened. I could be wrong. I mean, unless they really love you that much and your prices are the lowest around, I would not wait even for my favorite mechanic, if I needed a mechanic, 2 weeks to get my oil change or a tire plug. I would go, I love you, dude, but you know what? I can't wait 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. It's different if you're talking about a tuner or an engine builder or custom made part, but if you're talking about just general repair,
yeah,
no. Transmission shops, my transmission shop right up the road, he's not 2 weeks out. I guarantee if you call him, he would take your car right in and check it out and tell you what's going on and get it back to you as fast as he can. And even my largest competitor for exhaust, they're not 2 weeks out. They're usually busy, slammed cars everywhere. It's not like that anymore. The only other place that I know that's down the road from me is a Cito's, and it looks like he just has a lot of cars sitting in a big shop too.
He's got a big shop.
He's got a big shop, but then again, why can't you get those cars processed in and out and gone?
He might not have the workers.
He may not have the workers. He may be ordering parts from Amazon or eBay and then having the boomerang the same day or the week later, or there's a lot of moving pieces on why somebody is so busy and then why somebody is so not so busy. And it's a lot of moving pieces. But if we could talk amongst each other in the world, right, what works in the world for different places, you could pull a piece of that or pieces of that and say, hey, this is what makes my business a little bit different. This is what, makes my business a little bit different. One guy said here that he's doing 2 and 3 times more the advertising, and it hasn't changed since November. 2 and 3 times more the advertising, and it hasn't changed. That's for him in his location. I don't know what the building looks like. I don't know if he's in the backwoods. I don't know if he's in an industrial park. I don't know what the draw is. For me, I have people driving by 80 miles an hour when at a stoplight. There's no real dense home population. You really have to know me, know the service, and know what you're getting. So I think it's good for everyone to have someone to talk to or someone to relate to, right? What's going on here in New Jersey. And then even the shops that are busy, my accountant says this all the time, what goes up must come down. So there's going to be a time where you're not going to be busy.
Probably.
And then why did that happen? That's all. Thanks for watching.